Don't forget to hit like and subscribe button. Tell a friend, tell a friend. Here we have another crazy story, another crazy story. They say he's one of the last ones left. Yup. No other. Bezu. Imagine that. THF Bezu. He's one of those original Chicago members, if you know what I mean. He's one of the originals. They said Bezu, he got famous because of what a whole lot of these other individuals from Chicago get famous for. Here's why Bezu got so famous.
THF Zoo, also known as Bezu or OTF Bebe, is a rapper signed on Lil Durk's OTF label. But before the music, Zoo was well respected in the streets and beat a murder charge that would have put him behind bars for life. Let's take a look at the.
So that's what's going on with Bezu right there. That's why he's respected. As I said, unfortunately, these people can't just be respected for like their talents or being nice individuals. Nope. They could only be respected for doing the worst of the worst. So that's what made Bezu who he is.
And career of THF Zoo. THF Zoo grew up in the Cabrini Green houses, the notorious projects on the north side of Chicago. The building was created to provide low-income housing to working-class residents of the city, but it eventually became overrun with crime and violence and was known as one of the worst areas in the city.
So from the projects, that's where Bezu is from, just like a whole lot of these other individuals. They're project babies. One thing about being a project baby, they say you're this close to going to jail. Imagine that. That close.
The Chicago Housing Authority began demolishing the project, with the final building being torn down in 2011. This led many residents to move to other parts of the city, including THF Zoo. His family eventually relocated to the Woodlawn neighborhood, where he spent most of his teenage years. He jumped off the porch at a young age.
So many years ago, those projects, those big old projects in Chicago, they were all torn down. Because they said individuals kept on doing too many crimes in the projects. Don't forget, they said the project was a place for them, like a safe haven. But they turned it into a jungle.
The streets are just 12 years old. He joined a set called THF06, or Trigger Happy Family, which is made up of Mickey Cobras and Black Disciples. They're allied with other BD sets nearby, including O-Block and 600. At just 18, the rapper got involved in a murder case that almost cost him his freedom, but police didn't catch up to him until years later.
These individuals from Chicago, what they like to do, they like to click up. So you get these individuals from here, come there, come there. They all come together, form one, and then they all start going to war with each other. Imagine that.
On July 5th, 2009, a 21-year-old man named Dominic Barnes from the 600 block of East 51st Street was shot and killed in the Bronzeville neighborhood in Chicago.
So let's get back to it. Bezu. This is how he became famous. This is why they said King Von respected him. That's why they made that song together. Go check it out. Bezu and that King Von song. Have to admit. It was a good song.
The victim was walking down the street around 10:15 a.m.
If you're into that type of thing.
On the block of South Forestville Avenue when two suspects ran up on him and opened fire. Police were on the lookout for multiple people believed to be involved in the shooting, but no arrests were made. In January 2014, THF Zoo was arrested for unlawful use of a weapon. Around that time, police began to connect him with the murder of Dominic Barnes from 5 years before. Not long after being released on bail, Zoo was arrested for murder. Because of his pending gun charge, he wasn't allowed to post bail for the murder. So
Bezu's one of those individuals. He think he survived. He think he made it because he's almost 40 years old. Maybe he did, but most likely not because he's still stuck in Chicago. Imagine that. They say he can't leave.
He sit in jail and await trial. When they picked him up for the murder, THF Zoo was staying at the Orland Park home of Dirk Banks, a.k.a. Lil Durk. Dirk was also brought into custody after police found 2 illegal weapons in the home. Police seized a Glock 45 caliber handgun and 11 rounds, as well as a Springfield 45 handgun and 13 rounds. The guns was in plain sight near Dirk on the Kitchen Island.
And I said these individuals, they are who they are. The individuals who commit crime and violence. That's all they are. Unbelievable.
His officers arrived, so both men got arrested. According to police reports, Dirk admitted to possessing the weapons and told officers that I got those pipes because niggas always be trying to take my bands. Dirk was charged with unlawful use of a weapon by a felon and denied bail because that was his third weapons charge within a few years. But his lawyer claimed there was 9 other people in the home and the weapons could have belonged to
Don't forget to hit like, subscribe button. Like, subscribe button.
them. He also pointed out that Dirk had spent more than 150 hours doing community service for cure violence at the University of Illinois in Chicago and used his platform to speak out against gang violence in Chicago. So he was eventually
I mean, that's another story. Imagine that. Imagine Lil Durk, whatever they say he tried to do.
off with 18 months of probation in order to do an additional 50 hours of volunteer work. But his homie THF Zoo ain't get off as easy and had to stand trial for the murder of Dominic Barnes. In court, prosecutors claimed the victim was standing outside when THF Zoo approached him and asked what hood he was from. When Barnes answered, Zoo pulled out a gun and shot him multiple times. The rapper and his unknown co-defendant then went through his pockets while he laid injured and took some money before fleeing the scene.
Imagine that. Bezu was down and out. They say he did whatever to somebody that he went inside their pockets while they was down on the ground. Is that the truth? Imagine that.
Multiple witnesses identified him as the one who fired the kill shot, and at least
He's a bad man.
reported seeing him with a gun immediately after the shooting. But the evidence presented by the prosecutors wasn't enough to convict him of murder. So the charges was eventually dropped, and he got out in 2018. While he was in jail, he allegedly ran into some ops and got into a fight that left him with a broken jaw. He later confirmed this rumor on IG Live with Mubu Crump, a rapper from King Louie's Man Up or Band Up crew. Mubu Crump was also cool with 051 Melly, one of the main shooters from 051 Money Gang, who THF was known to beef with. On the live, Crump tried to claim that THF Zoo had his jaw wired shut because of what they did to him in jail.
You just had your shit in the wire.
Internet whooping.
Your shit was in the wire in the county, baby.
I never wore wire.
On
Never had
Saturday.
wires in my jaw.
Zoo denied the allegations that he had to have his jaw wired shut, but confirmed he did have a broken jaw.
So what was wrong with your jaw? Your jaw wasn't broke?
I never
Was your
had,
jaw
I
broke?
never had wires in my jaw.
Was your jaw broke?
Yeah, my shit was broke. I never had wires though.
In another live with 051 Melly, Zoo claimed it was Shawty Foe from the east side of Chicago who broke his jaw. According to Zoo, Shawty Foe sucker punched him from behind while he was brushing his teeth. But after he did it, the whole deck went crazy and beat his ass. THF Zoo and 051 Melly had a strange relationship. Even though they was ops who both lost homies in a war between their gangs, they also had mutual respect for each other. They often appeared on live together.
They say these individuals from Chicago, they like to talk to their enemies. Imagine that. Imagine like to talk to your enemies. Or they really just friends, pretending to be enemies. I don't know.
Talking about what was going on in the streets of Chicago. THF and 051 have been beefing for several years, with both sides losing many members in the war. One of the most high-profile killings was the murder
Believe it or not, that's all that happens in Chicago. Both sides is always losing each other. Imagine that. Nobody winning. Who's winning?
rapper from 051 named Lil Mark. Lil Mark dropped a diss track aimed at several members of the PDs and was murdered just 3 days later. No one was ever arrested for Lil Mark's murder, but it was supposedly committed by members of 600 and THF. After Lil Mark's death, 051 Melly allegedly went on a killing spree that took the lives of several members of OTF and 051, including Dirk's manager Chino and his cousin Newski, as well as a 15-year-old named THF Raheem. THF Raheem wasn't just in the same gang as Zoo. He was actually his stepson. Zoo and Raheem's mom had been seeing each other.
Bad man.
Raheem was against it. But
Bad
eventually,
man.
He started to like Zoo and looked at him like a role model. So, Raheem
Imagine that. Imagine looking at Bezu as a role model.
hit Zoo extra hard.
It's fair to say he guaranteed to go to jail. He guaranteed to go to
Named
jail.
Arius Finch, aka 051 Ariel from 051 Young Money, was later arrested for Raheem's.
Don't forget to hit like and subscribe button.
But it's been rumored that Melly was the one who actually pulled the trigger. But even though Zoo and Melly were sworn enemies, they still chopped it up from time to time on IG Live. After Melly was murdered in 2019, Zoo went on live and said he missed Melly because he was a real one.
I miss Melly, man, on Photograph.
In a quarter mile, turn right.
I miss my boy, man. That was a real right there, Zoo.
On May 24, 2018, Melly and Mubu Crump were both at a house party in the 6800 block of South Morgan Street in the Inglewood neighborhood in the South Side.
Mubu Crunk, he was so disrespectful. He really was.
They were standing outside when shots was fired from a car driving by. Crump was shot twice in the arm and twice in the torso and rushed to the University of Chicago Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Melly also got shot in the arm and grazed in the head, but he survived. Leading up to his death, Mubu was members of THF and OTF. May 24th was the anniversary of
Bad
THF
man.
Raheem's death, and supposedly Members of THF were looking for revenge that night.
Uh-oh.
It just so happened that they caught two of their main ops in the same location. Not long after that, THF Zoo got picked up for an outstanding warrant for an unrelated charge and spent about a month locked up. While he was inside, he met up with King Von, who was fighting a murder charge. Zoo knew exactly what Von was going through, having just beaten his own case. So,
they say King Von and Bezu, they were like this. They had so much in common. They used to brag about beating bodies. Imagine that.
they became good friends in the pen. Von was already writing raps while locked up, and it was around that time that Zoo started taking music more seriously. Von ended up beating the murder, and Zoo was released around the same time. Not long after that, they collaborated on the track Beat That Body, where they trade bars about the experience of beating the murder charge. The track racked up millions of views and exposed the world to King Von for the first time. THF Zoo got arrested again in April 2019 for reckless conduct and for having a weapon near a school or park. Police caught him with a rifle and a shotgun.
Bezu's a bad man.
South Coster Avenue, and he spent a few days locked up before bonding out. Less than a month later, Zoo was arrested again for charges connected to the same 2009 murder.
So you have a better understanding, like what I said. These individuals, they can't be respected unless they do crimes. So that's what's going on with Bezu. That's why he's famous. For beating bodies.
At Barnes, police must have gained new info and thought they could make the charges stick this time. But after spending close to a year locked up, he was eventually released on March 22nd, 2020. Almost losing his freedom for a second time must have made THF Zoo start thinking about his priorities. Because as soon as he got out, he started taking music more seriously and began dropping tracks more consistently. Songs like Streets Bleed Murder, Safe, and Do It For.
Basically, all Bezu, he's just like Lil Durk. Let's talk about the crimes that they do. That's it. They're going to pick him up soon. They're going to get him soon.
Have racked up hundreds of thousands of views. Plus, he's been featured with other members of OTF on songs like Sip Again and Get Backer. Since being released from jail, THF Zoo's kept a low profile and avoided drama in the streets. But that don't mean he'll sit back and be disrespected, even when it's from his own homies. While Zoo was locked up, another rapper from his set named THF Billa did an interview where he spoke on the beef between Zoo and Mubu Crump. In the interview, Billa made it seem like he had to step in and defend Zoo.
So that's what's going on, Bezu. The story of Bezu. One of the last ones standing.
Because Crump was bigger than him. He claimed Zoo was only 5'3", 130 pounds, and Crump was a big dude. So Billa stepped up to help out his homie.
He 5'3", 130 pounds. This my size. You trying to get into it with him? Get into it with me.
Zoo didn't appreciate the way that Billa phrased it and clapped back as soon as he got out. He accused Billa of sneak dissing and claimed he was 5'10", 200 pounds, and could handle his own beat. He also told Billa to take the THF out his name and accused him of speaking on his beef just for clout.
So that's what's going on with Bezu right there. A real Chicago gangster. They even say a legend. They even say a dinosaur because he's so old. Old gang member. So now you know why Bezu's famous. For getting away with all those crimes. I don't know a lot. Only thing I do know is crime don't pay. But I see them do it though. Unbelievable.